Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. Today we're going to case the catalogue but use what we've got. So I'm going to show you on my phone. This is from the new catalogue called Penciled Pear Cling Stamp. Now I'm just going to bring it up so you can see it. That's the pear. It's called Penciled Pear Cling Stamp, and that's the card that is in there, which I think is really rather lovely but really rather simple. So rather than going and spending on new things, as you know, I'm using what I've got. So this is the stamp we're using. Now it's exactly the same pear image, but it's got the words on it. This came from a stamp set called Faith in Nature. It was a hostess set, I don't know, 8-10 years ago. If you haven't got it, then you can use something similar, and if you haven't got that, you can get a new one out of the catalogue. So win-win always. I'm going to stamp it very simply in smoky slate. We don't want it in black because we don't want it too dark. Now, as I've said to you, if you are colouring in alcohol markers, you want to use a water-based ink. So you can use any of the Stampin' Up inks, which are all water-based. And then you can use any of your alcohol markers on top, and you're not going to get any bleeding or smudging. So I'm just going to ink this one up. And I'm just going to put it down in the centre, because this will give us a clean and simple stamp. And then I will show you at the end one that I've done, which has got a little bit more stepped up, shall we say. Okay, so that's our image, and you've got the writing that comes on over the top, which is quite fun. And now we are using some blends. So I'm using light and dark Granny Apple Green. And then I'm using, this is a Spectrum Noir tri-blend, because I haven't got a peachy colour that would work. And I'm going to use the light and probably the mid on that. So very simply, we are going to start with the dark. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring you in just a little bit so you can see more clearly. So let me bring you in like that. And then you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so with the dark, we are going to just do dark round the top of this leaf and just down the stem a little bit. Then we are going to do down on this side, and again you can see I'm just sort of doing slight stroking marks. I'm going to bring it all the way down round on the side, and then I'm just going to bring it up in just a couple of places like this, so it comes in down round on the bottom a little bit. And then I'm going to leave that like that. Then I'm going to go on the other side with the pale. This is the tri-blend, and what was it called? Coral blend. So it's CR1, CR3, CR6, and we're using CR1 and CR3. So this is the pale one. And I'm going to do this side, and we're just going to take this down on this side. Now you can see I'm doing this first, and then I'm going to colour in with, so that's my peachy colour that side, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of the middle just in on the edge on here. Just like that, because that gives just a little bit of depth right at the edge. Okay, now we're going to go in with the pale. Now what we want to do, as in the image in the catalogue, we want to make sure that we have, I've got to try and get this off now because I've just had it off and This is why I'm not that keen on these. There we go. Blends, because they take their middles out. Now we want to keep in here a completely white part, so I'm just going over here and we are blending through on the outside. So we're blending the dark into the light. So you go round. I do it in circular motions because I find that easier. And as I say, I am no colorist, so I'm just taking this down on the bottom, and then I'm going to take it down across into this peach a bit, so it tones the peach down a little bit. Can you see how that's just toning it down, but it's still keeping that peach colour on it? And I'm just bringing it down, but leaving a piece in the centre to just give that light on it. And then just bringing this down in on the side to bring that peach in a little bit. Okay, now we can go back in to just give a little bit more definition on there. So I want a little bit more of this pale peach, and I'm just going to take that in over the top of here, because then that gives you that lovely sort of colour. And then go back in with the dark green again. Oh, I have to try and pull this in because that's better. It pulls it out from the side, and it's because my hands aren't very good, but that's why I do struggle with it sometimes. Okay, now I'm just going back over again with the pale. And that gives us a really nice, and I could take just a little bit of the dark if I wanted to just give a little bit right on the edge. Maybe up on this bit again, because you can see how the paper's getting more saturated. So I'm just taking that in there. Take the pale again. I'm going to use this side and just go over the top again. And as you blend it, what happens is that it just takes away those harsh lines, but it's really easy to do. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Now what I didn't do was to do my leaf. So let's just take the leaf. See if I can get this. You see what I mean? This is what comes out all the time, and it really is so frustrating. So I have to try and hold it in and pull it out. Oh, it's not going to have it now, is it? So if you have dexterity problems, these are probably not the right markers for you, which is why I haven't bought any for a very long time. Okay, so let's just come down in on here like this, and that just gives us that little leaf. And you can see again you've got the light coming through with the dark, and that just blends it quite nicely. So now you've got, let me just take that back out again now. You can now see you've got the shadow coming in on there, and you've got a really rather lovely card. Now all you need to do on that is to put it onto a mat. I don't even know if I've got a mat, but even if you haven't got a mat, here's a nice sort of pale card in on here. Put that in on there, pop a little sentiment on, and you've got a really lovely card like that. Now if you wanted to step it up, what I've done on this one is, let me show you the start. So what I've taken from this, it's coloured exactly the same. I have taken 2 circles, so any circles that you've got, and I've just given a mat in a darker green. Don't ask me what colours they are because they're bits that I've got in my stash. So you could put that straight on there if you wanted to. Now what I've done is, so I'm going to move that one to just one side. What I've done with this is I've taken a card base. I've then taken a peachy colour. Okay, now I'd always cut things out of the middles of mine so I don't waste them. So that's going to come in on here. Then I've got a matte, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller, and I've just gold edged it with my Posca pens. So these are my Posca pens. You can get them all over the place. You can get them from Amazon, anywhere like that, and they are brilliant for just doing an edging to give a colour. So then we can put this in on the centre. So I could have the green as the base, but I wanted to have a contrast because it lightens it a bit. And then I've just put a little sentiment on here, which is the world needs more people like you. Lovely sentiment. This came from part of my story, which was a celebration stamp a few years ago. You may well have that. Lovely sentiments on there. So you've got this one, which is very plain. You've got this one, which is stepped up, all using this one stamp, and doing it as a copy from the new annual catalogue without having to spend anything using what I've got. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.